So I call and ask the plug, what can I do for you? Euphoria was controversial. There was things that people didn't like about the show from the beginning of the show. The teenage sex, the teenage sex, the teenage sex. One of the biggest gripes with the show is why are they in high school? Why are they doing all this freaky crazy shit in high school? Why is this high school boy playing Russian roulette in his teenage cheerleader's bedroom? I don't disagree with these gripes either. I'm not gonna lie. I think Sam Levinson is definitely a character, and I don't know many writers' room of one. I think it is insane to have a writer's room of one and have such a large ensemble. There's just so many different characters and so many different backgrounds of each character. There are trans characters, gay characters, bisexual characters, black characters, Latin characters, and I just feel like that one person cannot be able to write for all those different people. A writer's room just makes things much better, makes things more cohesive, and gives some life to each of the characters, some personality traits, and some authenticity to the character and their background. And that's really lacking from the show. Anyway, but what people could not say about Euphoria was that Euphoria was not entertaining. Because that show, no matter how fucked up and weird it was entertaining. That is, of course, until Season 3. Season 3 for me is one of the worst drop-offs that I've watched of television. Now, I've watched a lot of television. I think I've probably watched over 100 TV shows. Like, the first two seasons were about, they mainly surrounded like an ensemble of teenagers, but our main point was Rue, played by Zendaya. Rue was a drug addict that was pushed to doing drugs because of her mental illnesses, but also was really close to the drugs and had the accessibility because her father died of cancer, which left around a lot of painkillers, narcotics, that sort of thing, and she was able to take those and get her hands on them at a very young age and being able to get hooked in those drugs at a very young age. In the first season especially, there was a very euphoric aesthetic. It was kind of girly, very teen pop punk, very Pinteresty, Tumblr-y kind of. It was girly in a cool way. It reminds me of that Grimes Art Angels album. It was a pretty show. And they did this the use of music. They did this with the use of makeup, clothing choices, drug use, kind of romanticization. They did this in a lot of ways. A lot of people say that this aesthetic, especially in that first season, we see that sort of teen girl, cool aesthetic. They say this is from Petra Collins. I believe that is true. And in the beginning, Sam Levinson and Petra Collins were working together, and then they kind of scrapped Petra Collins, and that's where we get to Season 2 and Season 3. And these aesthetics are really different. It doesn't really use that teen girl, pixie dream girl, very cool, glittery kind of aesthetic. It drops off. We see that the show starts using film, and we go to this more orangey, yellow film, and it doesn't really focus on that sort of, there's not a lot of pinks. It just really shifts and becomes more grungier. Season 1 still upholds because it was really interesting. We were grounded in these teenagers' lives. It was all grounded about this theater show. There was this big high school theater show, which, I'm sure a lot of us have dealt with being teenagers. Theater was big. I know at my school, theater was big. A lot of teenagers' lives, that's a big thing. And it was really interesting because we get to see this production of basically what we watched prior, and it was really fucking funny, and it was meta, and it was good, and it was very entertaining, and it had those grungier aspects, but it also had those Petra Collins aspects. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Season 1, but I actually really liked Season 2 as well, even though it dropped off from that point, in a different way. But Season 3 just kind of stuck with that same grungy, use of yellows, lack of any really super bright, girly colors. and it literally became a fucking Quentin Tarantino movie, a bad one at that. It became the scrapped 8th Quentin Tarantino movie, and it didn't really make sense because it wasn't grounded in anything real. It literally felt like a movie, like it felt disconnected from season 1 and season 2. It reminded me of what can happen if you don't have any backing and it's literally just like cool shit. Like it was literally, it is the epitome of no plot, just vibes, in the way that nothing had any backing, it just all looked cool. What formerly was a show about teenagers, no matter if, sometimes it got a little bit crazy, it would, at the forefront of the show, it was about teenagers in high school, and they were fucking crazy, and they were doing drugs, but it really, really amped up in season 3. It became about this pimp named Alamo, who was secretly British, that's the actor, and he was trafficking drugs and women, and Rue was helping with this. It's about Cassie doing OnlyFans and becoming right-wing, Nate being abused and mutilated, and it's just, it really just became completely and entirely weird. Every time you think you're getting to a point, there was a couple episodes where I was like, okay, this is getting quite interesting. I think it's gonna start getting good. It leads to nothing. It's a dead end. It's a dead end of a fucking show. Like, truly. They couldn't even give us proper toxic Yuri sex. Yeah, the nuance of each character just seemed to be rushed and wasted on some type of crime movie that Sam Levinson created in his head that Euphoria just really wasn't. Nate's character, I mentioned Nate briefly, but I don't know, are people gonna watch this video that don't watch the show? Anyway, I'm gonna say this. Nate in the previous episodes was this psychopath, pretty sure bisexual, but that wasn't the most important part. He was a young teenager that had gone through sexual abuse from watching porn of his father with women, gay guys, just all different types of porn, all different types of women, all different types of people. He was fucking them, and really rough and hard, and this young 10-year-old boy watched those videos, and we can see that through, in real life, the effects that watching that sort of brutality and sexuality does to a child's mind, and how much it can deteriorate the brain of a child. It's just off of something, and we can see that as he grows up. Very, very, very fucking interesting figure. He gets killed by a snake in a casket. I cannot stress this enough. This show is fucking stupid. Not only does he get killed by a snake, but he turns into a completely different person before he gets killed by a snake. For who we knew to be a psychopath that, like I said, played Russian roulette in a girl's bedroom, what does he do? Plays Russian roulette in a girl's bedroom, chokes a girl, threatens his dad, goes absolutely psycho ape shit multiple times. When he's in the face of somebody threatening him, he bows down like a little bitch. Are you kidding me? Bullshit. Bukake. This brings me, there's a couple examples of this, but I really want to get to that end and talk about the end, because that's why I made this video. Rue is killed off in the end, and she's not killed off. Well, she kind of killed off, but basically, in this, Rue gets caught up with a drug dealer. She gets found out to be a snitch, and the drug dealer gives her drugs for the pain because she goes on this GTA side mission where she gets pounded in the face and gets literally lassied. But it's okay, because a black cowboy had a sniper and shot the guy that lassied her. So she got to get out of the lassie. It doesn't make sense. So then she takes the Percocet and she overdoses because it's fentanyl. Guys, I had people saying that they cried over this. I had no emotion over this because this shit just got so fucking stupid at the end that I could not give a fuck about these people or these characters anymore, because the writing just got so shit. It just got so shit. Like, This teenage drug user who was once sad and, depressed and had OCD and was just deeply, deeply sad because her father passed and her mental illnesses, she becomes a pimp. It's the payoff. That feels like it was the big, like, I am tired of this shit. What's going on? Tired of watching leads of a show, women, die as the big, it's not interesting. Stranger Things, Killing 11 was not interesting. It was lazy. Death is not a good ending. It's a lazy ending. But it was all a dream ending. It's a bullshit ending. It's like, and then, like, let me tell you how lazy of an ending it is. It's like if I was masturbating and then I was like, and then she came. Duh. What else was I gonna do? Like, what? Oh, the girl that takes drugs and has overdosed is gonna die. Really? Like that's the most lazy bullshit ever. And like I said, this is not the only show that's done it. It has been a couple of shows. I wrote them down. Most notably Stranger Things. That's not my favorite show. It could have had it definitely could have had a better ending. Even worse for me was Killing Eve. Killing Eve is one of my worst show drop-offs. What hurts me is that certain shows, maybe Euphoria, like that Euphoria, these could have been my favorite shows, but I feel so dirty saying this is my favorite show because that ending was so shit from the butt. I cannot associate. Playing off your lead is not an interesting ending, and I wish people would stop doing that. Like, it genuinely does give, it was just a dream. Like, it was just a dream for this character. Because, let me tell you what that gives you. That gives you, you get your emotional push. You get your, boo-hooing, crying. You get all that. You get that final, like, relief. Like, let the fans let the show go. You get all those feelings. But it doesn't make sense for most TV characters. Like, because it doesn't make sense for most shows because a lot of these shows are good or have been good at certain points. So when you do something as basic, it's like using a basic metaphor in your essay writing. Nobody wants to hear it. It's boring. It's just repetitive. So when you are writing a show, you don't want to use a metaphor that everybody knows in the show. You want to do something interesting and unique to the character because each character is unique. I do not think Rue should have overdosed. I don't. I think it should have been a better ending. I don't know exactly what it could have been because this season was so jumbled that I don't know where she even could have been led to. Personally, I think this season should have been, I don't even know if this should have been a season. I think season 2 was a perfect ending for Rue. And I do. And if you were going to do anything about this, I think it should have been about finding her way as an adult. And same thing, you could have kept the Nate story. They could have kept the Nate storyline too, and just made it less like crazy, and made him more of a psychopath. That's what the people want. That's exactly what the people want to see.
That's not what the fans want to see. That's literally what the fans don't want to see.
And not just with a show like Hacks, where Jean Smart's character does not. I'm not forgetting. Where Deborah Vance does not pass. Even though she has cancer, even though we think she's going to pass, she does not pass because that's not really an interesting ending. I mean, the writers know that, we know that. It's kind of like what everybody's been doing with their endings. She dies. It's just not interesting. So by them setting something up like that and making it true to the character while still being interesting, that's the point. That's a good finale. There's really good finales and there are really bad ones. And when they fuck up finales like that, I don't want to say it ruins the show, but it kind of does ruin the show. The ending should be strong. That's it. If I really love a movie, I'm rating it on its ending too. And these shows can't even be my favorites anymore because they're just lacking that good ending. And it's fucked up. But thank you guys for watching. It's been me, Jamani, And I'm out. I don't know why I feel like saying my full name.
It's just do what you feel when you feel like it, if you feel like it.
That may be to some people quite shocking.
What's shocking? To do what you feel when